Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Life is full of surprises. Some good, some bad, and some downright frustrating. But the real question isn't about what life throws at you, it's about how you handle it. Now, here's a simple truth. A calm mind is a strong mind. When the world is in chaos, when circumstances test to be falling apart, that's the moment when calmness becomes your greatest advantage. But let me tell you, it doesn't happen by accident. It happens by training. It happens by making a conscious decision every day to take control of your mind. Now think about it. Who do people follow in times of crisis? The one who panics. The one who lets emotions cloud judgment. No, they follow the one who remains composed, the one who stands tall while everyone else crumbles. Calmness is not weakness, it is the ultimate strength. Now I want you to imagine something. Picture a tree in the middle of a storm. The winds howl, the rain pours, the lightning strikes. But does the tree fight the storm? No, it bends, it sways, it adapts. And because of that, it survives. My friends, life is that storm, and your mind must be that tree. Flexibility, not resistance, is the key. You see, most people let their emotions dictate their actions. Someone insults them, they react. Something doesn't go their way, they get frustrated. But a trained mind doesn't react, it responds. There's a difference. Reaction is emotional, impulsive. Response is thoughtful, intentional. And that, my friends, is how you take control of any situation. How do you develop this kind of control? Through discipline, through practice, through daily reflection. You don't become calm overnight any more than you build muscles overnight. You train it. You train your mind the way an athlete trains their body. You study your thoughts. You challenge your impulses. You learn to pause before you act. I'll tell you this, if you don't control your mind, someone else will. The world is full of distractions, full of people trying to stir your emotions, trying to make you angry, make you scared. But when you train yourself to remain calm, nothing controls you. No situation, no person, no external force. You become unshakable. So the next time life tests you, ask yourself, am I in control or is the situation controlling me? That one question will change your entire perspective. Remember, the storms will come, challenges will arise, but a calm mind sees opportunity where others see obstacles. Train your mind to be still in the chaos, to be strong in adversity, to be the guiding light in the darkness. And when you do, you will not only master your emotions, you will master your life. Now go out there and train your mind. Be calm. Be powerful. And watch how life transforms before your very eyes. Calmness is a strength, not a weakness. That's something most people don't realize. They mistake composure for passivity, stillness for inaction, and patience for a lack of urgency. But let me tell you, the ability to stay calm in the midst of pressure is not just a skill, it's a superpower. It's the trait that separates those who crumble under stress from those who rise above it. You think about the people you admire, the ones who lead, the ones who inspire, the ones who make an impact. Are they the ones who panic when things go wrong? Are they the ones who let emotions drive their decisions? No. They are the ones who remain steady. They are the ones who can navigate through chaos with clarity. They are the ones who don't allow the noise of the world to disrupt their inner peace. That kind of strength isn't something you're born with, it's something you develop. It's something you train for every single day. The world will test you. It will throw challenges your way that seem unfair, unexpected, and overwhelming. People will provoke you, situations will frustrate you, and circumstances will push you to your limits. But here's the question, will you let those moments control you, or will you remain in control? That's what defines real strength. It's not about showing aggression, raising your voice, or forcing your way through problems. No, the strongest people in the world are those who can keep their emotions in check while making clear, rational decisions. When you lose your calm, you lose your power, because the moment you allow frustration, anger, or fear to take over, you become reactive instead of proactive. You start making decisions based on temporary emotions rather than long-term wisdom. And here's the problem with that: decisions made in anger often lead to regret. Decisions made in frustration often create more problems than they solve. But decisions made from a place of calmness and clarity, those are the decisions that change the game. And those are the decisions that lead to real progress. Imagine two people in the same difficult situation. One panics, reacts emotionally, and spirals into stress. The other takes a breath, assesses the situation logically, and makes a calculated move. Who do you think will come out on top? Who do you think will find the solution faster? Who do you think will walk away stronger? It's not the person who let the situation control them, it's the person who controlled their mind. Now, here's something important to understand. Calmness isn't the absence of emotion. It's not about suppressing how you feel. It's about mastering it. It's about feeling the frustration, the stress, the uncertainty, but not letting it dictate your actions. That's what true emotional intelligence is. It's the ability to recognize an emotion without becoming enslaved by it. It's the ability to acknowledge stress without being consumed by it. And when you develop that kind of self-control, you become unstoppable. But let's be real, this isn't easy. It's easy to let emotions take over. It's easy to react without thinking. It's easy to get caught up in the heat of the moment. That's why so few people have mastered this skill. But if you want to separate yourself from the masses, if you want to stand out as a leader, if you want to develop a mindset that gives you an edge in every area of life, you must learn to remain calm. Not just when things are going well, but especially when things aren't. So how do you train yourself to stay calm under pressure? First, you have to change your perspective on challenges. Most people see problems as something to fear. They see obstacles as something to be frustrated by. But what if you saw them differently? What if you saw every challenge as an opportunity to grow? What if you saw every moment of difficulty as a test of your strength? A chance to prove to yourself that you can handle anything. When you start viewing life this way, stress loses its power over you. You stop seeing problems as something that happens to you and start seeing them as something that happens for you. Next, you have to train your response. Because the truth is, calmness is not a natural reaction for most people, it's a practiced skill. And like any skill, it gets stronger the more you use it. The next time something stresses you out, instead of reacting immediately, take a pause. Take a deep breath. Give yourself a moment to assess the situation before you respond. That small moment of stillness can change everything. It can mean the difference between saying something you'll regret and saying something that moves the conversation forward. It can mean the difference between making a bad decision in frustration and making the right decision with clarity. And finally, you have to remind yourself that nothing great is ever achieved in a state of panic. The biggest breakthroughs, the best ideas, the most important moments of leadership, they don't happen when you're overwhelmed and anxious. They happen when you are calm, focused, and fully present. The greatest athletes don't let the pressure of the game break them. They perform at their best under pressure because they have calmed their minds to be calm. The greatest leaders don't crumble when faced with challenges. They thrive in uncertainty because they have learned to control their emotions. The greatest thinkers don't let distractions and frustrations throw them off course. They create their best work when they are centered and clear-minded. So let me ask you, do you want to be strong? Or do you want to be easily shaken? Do you want to have power over your mind, or do you want your emotions to control you? The choice is yours. But I'll tell you this, if you can master the ability to remain calm in any situation, you will have an advantage in life that most people will never have. You will be the one people turn to in times of crisis. You will be the one who can handle challenges with confidence. You will be the one who stands tall while others crumble. So train your mind, rebuild your emotional strength, and watch how your life transforms. Because in a world where everyone is losing their composure, the one who stays calm holds the real power. Control your mind, control your life. That's the foundation of everything. Because whether you realize it or not, your mind is the command center of your existence. Every action you take, every decision you make, every success or failure you experience, it all begins in the mind. If your thoughts are chaotic, your life will be chaotic. If your mind is disciplined, your life will reflect that discipline. The moment you take control of your thoughts, you take control of your future. Most people go through life as slaves to their own minds. They let their emotions dictate their actions. They allow external circumstances to shape their internal state. If something goes wrong, they immediately spiral into negativity. If someone says something hurtful, they take it personally and let it ruin their day. They react instead of respond, living life on autopilot without realizing they have the power to change it all. But here's the truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who observes them. And once you understand that, you gain the ability to master them. The way you think shapes the way you live. If you allow negative thoughts to dominate your mind, negativity will dominate your reality. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough, not smart enough, not capable enough, then your actions will follow that belief. You'll hesitate. You'll doubt yourself. You'll sabotage your own success. But if you train your mind to think with confidence, with resilience, with purpose, then your actions will reflect that. You'll walk into situations with certainty. You'll take on challenges with courage. You'll move through life with a sense of control, knowing that no matter what happens, your mind is working for you, not against you. But this kind of control doesn't happen by accident. It happens through deliberate training. Just like an athlete trains their body to perform under pressure, you must train your mind to remain focused, disciplined, and strong in the face of adversity. Because life will test you. It will throw obstacles in your path. People will criticize you, and situations will challenge your patience. And in those moments, the untrained mind will panic, complain, and give up. But the trained mind, it will adapt. It will adjust. It will find solutions instead of excuses. That's the power of mental discipline. One of the biggest problems people face is that they believe every thought that enters their mind. They think that just because they feel fear, they must act on it. Just because they feel doubt, they must stop. But emotions are not instructions. Just because your mind presents a negative thought doesn't mean you have to accept it as truth. Thoughts are like clouds passing in the sky. You are the sky, and the thoughts are temporary. The key is to recognize them, question them, and replace them with thoughts that serve you. Imagine waking up every morning and immediately choosing the thoughts that will guide your day. Instead of letting your mind drift into worry, self-doubt, or frustration, you intentionally set the tone for your mindset. You tell yourself, today I will focus on what I can control. Today I will move forward with confidence. Today I will not let circumstances dictate my attitude. When you do this consistently, your mind starts to listen. It starts to believe. And once your mind believes, your life follows. But here's what most people don't realize: your mind is a muscle. It's like any other muscle in your body. If you don't train it, it becomes weak. If you don't challenge your thoughts, they will control you instead of the other way around. That's why so many people struggle with anxiety, fear, and doubt. Not because they are incapable, but because they have never learned how to take charge of their own thinking. So how do you start training your mind? First, you must become aware of your thoughts. Pay attention to what you tell yourself daily. Are you feeding your mind with doubt, fear, and negativity? Or are you filling it with confidence, courage, and possibility? Awareness is the first step to change. Because once you become conscious of your thoughts, you can begin to shift them in a direction that serves you. Next, you have to challenge your own thinking. Most of the limitations you have are not real. They are beliefs you have picked up over time. Someone told you that you weren't good enough and you believed it. You failed at something once and now you think you're not capable. But if you step back and question those beliefs, you'll see that most of them have no real foundation. They are just thoughts you have accepted without proof. The key to taking control of your mind is learning to question these thoughts and replace them with empowering ones. And finally, you must practice discipline in your daily thinking. You can't control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. That means no matter what life throws at you, you have the power to choose your perspective. You can choose to see setbacks as failures, or you can choose to see them as lessons. You can choose to let challenges break you, or you can choose to let them build you. That choice is always yours. The people who succeed in life, in business, in relationships, in personal growth, these are the people who have learned to control their minds. They don't allow circumstances to dictate their emotions. They don't allow temporary setbacks to define their self-worth. They understand that the only thing they truly control in life is their thoughts, and by mastering that, they master everything else. So I ask you, are you controlling your mind, or is your mind controlling you? Are you making decisions based on clarity and purpose, or are you letting fear and doubt hold you back? The moment you decide to take control, everything changes. Your confidence grows, your focus sharpens. Your ability to handle life's challenges becomes stronger. You have the power to rewire your thinking. You have the ability to choose thoughts that serve you instead of thoughts that sabotage you. The key is to make that decision every single day. Because when you train your mind, you train your future. And when you master your mind, you master your life. The power of perspective is one of the most valuable tools you can ever develop. Most people believe that stress, frustration, and fear come from their circumstances, but that's not true. The reality is circumstances don't create stress, your perspective does. Two people can go through the exact same situation, but one crumbles under pressure while the other rises above it. Why? Because of how they see it. Perspective is the filter through which you experience life, and the quality of your life is determined by the quality of that filter. If you learn to shift your perspective, you can change the way you experience everything. Most people see problems as something to be feared, something to be frustrated by, something to avoid at all costs. But problems are inevitable. No one lives a life free of challenges, setbacks, or difficulties. The difference between those who succeed and those who struggle is how they perceive those challenges. Some people see obstacles and say, "Why is this happening to me?" While others say, "What can I learn from this?" That single shift in perspective determines whether you grow or whether you remain stuck. Imagine two individuals facing the same financial difficulty. One sees it as a disaster, as proof that life is unfair and as a reason to give up. The other sees it as a wake-up call, as an opportunity to develop better habits, and as a challenge to overcome. The circumstances are identical, but the outcomes will be drastically different because one person allows their perspective to work against them, while the other uses it to their advantage. This is why perspective is everything. It dictates your emotions, your actions, and ultimately your results. If you see setbacks as failures, you'll develop a habit of quitting whenever things get tough. But if you see setbacks as feedback, as lessons, as opportunities to grow stronger, you'll use every challenge as fuel to push forward. The situation itself doesn't change. The only thing that changes is how you choose to see it. Life will never be free of difficulties, but you can train yourself to approach them differently. Instead of reacting emotionally to every challenge, you can pause and ask yourself, how else can I look at this? That single question can shift your entire perspective, because often what we see as problems are actually opportunities in disguise. What we see as failures are simply lessons we haven't yet understood. What we see as obstacles are just stepping stones in the right direction. One of the most powerful things you can do is train yourself to find the good in every situation. That doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It means making a conscious choice to focus on what you can learn, what you can gain, and how you can grow from every experience. Because the truth is, your life is shaped by the meaning you attach to things. If you assign negative meaning to your struggles, your life will feel full of suffering. But if you assign meaning that empowers you, your struggles become your greatest teachers. Think about the most successful people in any field: business, sports, entertainment, leadership. Every single one of them has faced obstacles. Every single one of them has gone through moments of doubt, failure, and uncertainty. The difference is they didn't allow those moments to define them. They didn't see failure as the end. They saw it as part of the journey. They didn't see challenges as unfair burdens. They saw them as necessary tests that would prepare them for something greater. That shift in perspective is what allowed them to keep going when most people would have quit. The good news is perspective is not something you're born with, something you develop. Just like you train your body to get stronger, you can train your mind to see things differently. You can train yourself to reframe situations in a way that serves you rather than weakens you. You can train yourself to take control of the meaning you give to things rather than allowing emotions to dictate your response. One of the most powerful practices you can develop is the ability to pause before reacting. When something frustrating happens, instead of immediately getting angry or discouraged, stop and ask yourself, what else could this mean? How can I use this? That brief moment of reflection can change everything, because most of the time, the situation itself is not what's causing your frustration. It's your interpretation of it. A flat tire isn't a bad day. It's a chance to practice patience. A failed business isn't the end. It's a valuable lesson that can make your next attempt even stronger. A rejection isn't proof that you're not good enough. It's a redirection toward something better. The way you choose to see things determines the way you experience them. This is why two people can experience the exact same situation and have completely different reactions. One feels defeated, the other feels motivated. One sees problems, the other sees potential. One feels stuck, the other sees a new beginning. The difference is never the situation itself, it's the perspective they choose to adopt. Now, the question is, how do you shift your perspective? First, you have to become aware of the way you currently see things. Pay attention to your initial reactions to difficulties. Do you immediately get frustrated? Do you focus on what's wrong instead of what's possible? Awareness is the first step to change. Once you recognize your default patterns, you can begin to shift them. Next, you have to practice reframing situations in real time. Whenever something challenges you, instead of reacting emotionally, take a deep breath and ask, how can I look at this differently? Over time, this habit will become automatic, and your mind will start defaulting to perspectives that empower you rather than limit you. Finally, surround yourself with people who reinforce this mindset. If you spend time with those who always complain, who always focus on the negative, who always blame their circumstances, their perspective will influence yours. But if you surround yourself with people who see challenges as opportunities, who approach life with resilience, and who focus on growth, that mindset will rub off on you as well. At the end of the day, life is not about what happens to you, it's about how you see it. The strongest people are not the ones who avoid difficulties, but the ones who know how to handle them. The most successful people are not the ones who never fail, but the ones who see failure as part of the path to success. And the happiest people are not the ones who have perfect lives, but the ones who choose to focus on what's good, what's possible, and what they can control. So from this moment on, decide to take control of your perspective. Decide to see setbacks as setups for something greater. Decide to find the lesson in every challenge. Because when you shift your perspective, you don't just change the way you see life, you change the way you live it. Emotional control is the key to mastering life. Most people live at the mercy of their emotions. When things go well, they feel good. When things go wrong, they feel terrible. Their emotions fluctuate based on circumstances. And because of that, they never experience true stability. But here's the truth. Until you learn to control your emotions will control you. They will dictate your decisions, influence your actions, and shape your reality. But when you master your emotions, you master yourself. You gain control over your life. The strongest people are not those who never feel emotions. They are those who know how to manage them. Anger, frustration, fear, these emotions will arise. They are part of being human. But the difference between those who succeed and those who struggle is how they respond to these emotions. Do they let anger dictate their words? Do they let frustration make decisions for them? Do they allow fear to stop them from taking action? Or do they acknowledge the emotion, process it, and then move forward with clarity and purpose? That is the difference between those who rise above their circumstances and those who remain trapped by them. Emotions are like waves in the ocean. They come and go. Some are small ripples and some are massive storms. But just because the ocean moves doesn't mean you have to drown in it. You are not the waves, you are the sailor. You are the one who navigates, who adjusts, who remains steady, no matter how rough the waters become. Most people don't realize this. They think their emotions are in control. But the truth is, they have always had the power to steer the ship. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with emotional control is because they react instead of respond. They don't take the time to pause and process. Instead, they immediately lash out in anger, break down in frustration, or withdraw in fear. But reacting emotionally often leads to regret. It creates unnecessary conflict, damages relationships, and clouds judgment. That's why the ability to pause before reacting is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. When something upsets you, take a breath. Give yourself a moment. Ask yourself, is this response going to help me or hurt me? That small moment of awareness can be the difference between saying something you'll regret and saying something that moves the situation forward. Think about the people who are truly respected. They are not the ones who lose their temper easily. They are not the ones who panic under pressure. They are not the ones who allow emotions to drive their decisions. No. The most respected leaders, the most admired individuals are those who remain composed. They are the ones who can be in the middle of chaos and still think clearly. They're the ones who can face criticism without reacting defensively. They're the ones who can experience fear but move forward anyway. That level of control is what separates those who lead from those who follow. Now, some people think controlling emotions means suppressing them, but that's not the case. Suppressing emotions is like shaking a bottle of soda and keeping the cap on. It will explode eventually. True control is not about ignoring emotions. It's about understanding them. It's about recognizing what you feel, why you feel it, and then deciding how to respond in a way that serves you rather than weakens you. For example, anger is not always bad. Sometimes it's a signal that something needs to change. But if you allow anger to control you, it will make you say and do things that you will regret. Instead of letting anger explode, channel it into action. Use it to fuel your growth, to push yourself to improve, to stand up for what matters. But do it with discipline, not recklessness. The same goes for fear. Fear can either paralyze you or sharpen your awareness. If you see it as a warning rather than a stop sign, you can use it to prepare and to push yourself beyond your comfort zone. One of the best ways to strengthen your emotional control is through mindfulness and self-awareness. When you become aware of your emotions in the moment, you take away their power to control you. Instead of getting caught up in the storm, you become the observer. You notice the emotion, but you don't let it consume you. You say to yourself, I feel anger rising, but I don't have to act on it. I feel fear creeping in, but I don't have to listen to it. This ability to separate yourself from your emotions is a superpower. It allows you to remain calm in the midst of pressure. Another powerful strategy is shifting your focus. Most emotional reactions come from focusing on what you can't control. You can't control how others act, what they say, or what life throws at you, but you can always control how you respond. And when you focus on that, you take back your power. Instead of letting someone else's words ruin your mood, you decide not to give them that control. Instead of letting a stressful situation overwhelm you, you focus on solutions. Instead of letting a setback make you feel like a failure, you use it as a lesson. The ability to shift your focus is one of the most important tools in emotional mastery. And finally, emotional control requires practice. You won't master it overnight. Just like physical strength, emotional strength is built through consistent training. Every time you pause before reacting, every time you choose patience over frustration, every time you reframe a negative emotion into something useful, you strengthen your ability to remain in control. Over time, this becomes second nature. Instead of being ruled by emotions, you become the one who rules them. At the end of the day, life is unpredictable. Challenges will come, setbacks will happen, and people will test your patience. But the one thing you will always have control over is yourself. You can either let emotions dictate your life, or you can decide to take charge. The choice is yours. But I can tell you this: those who master their emotions master their future. They become the ones who lead, who inspire, who succeed. And they do it not because life is easy, but because they refuse to be controlled by anything other than their own discipline and wisdom. So from this moment on, commit to emotional mastery. When anger arises, pause. When fear whispers, challenge it. When frustration builds, breathe. Because the more you control your emotions, the more control you gain over your destiny. And in a world where most people are slaves to their emotions, the one who remains calm holds the greatest power of all. True strength is not found in force, nor in aggression, nor in loud displays of power. It is found in stillness, in composure, in the ability to remain unshaken when the world around you is in chaos. Calmness is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength. Because anyone can panic when things go wrong. Anyone can lash out in anger when provoked. Anyone can break down under pressure, but the one who remains calm, the one who thinks clearly in the storm, the one who responds with wisdom instead of reaction, that person holds real power. Most people believe that strength means fighting every battle, proving every point, forcing their way through obstacles. But the strongest individuals know that not every battle is worth fighting. They understand that reacting emotionally to every challenge only drains their energy. Instead of wasting their strength on things they cannot control, they channel their power where it matters most. On themselves, on their growth, on their purpose. They do not allow external forces to dictate their internal state. They do not let the opinions of others disrupt their focus. They do not let temporary circumstances shake their foundation. This is the power of true calmness. A calm mind is a focused mind, and a focused mind is an unstoppable force. When you are calm, you see things clearly, you make better decisions, you respond rather than react. But when you are overwhelmed by emotion, when your mind is clouded by frustration or fear, you make choices that you later regret. Think about the times in your life when you acted impulsively out of anger. Did it help? Did it solve the problem? Or did it create more problems? Now think about the times when you stayed calm in a difficult situation. You handled it with patience, with intelligence, with grace, and because of that, you came out stronger. That is the difference between reacting emotionally and responding with wisdom. The ability to remain calm is what separates those who lead from those who follow. Leaders do not panic. They do not allow their emotions to dictate their actions. They remain composed, even in the most difficult situations. This is why people trust them, why they turn to them in times of uncertainty. Because in a world where most people are ruled by their emotions, the one who remains calm stands out. The one who is unshaken in the face of adversity commands respect. And the one who can maintain inner peace, no matter the circumstances, is truly powerful. But this kind of calmness does not come naturally. It is not something you are born with. It is something you must develop, something you must train. Just like a warrior sharpens his sword, you must sharpen your mind. Because life will test you. It will throw obstacles in your path. People will challenge you. Situations will push your limits. And if you have not trained yourself to stay calm, you will be at the mercy of these external forces. But if you have developed true inner strength, nothing will be able to shake you. The key to this strength is discipline. Discipline over your thoughts, discipline over your emotions, discipline over your reactions. When something goes wrong, instead of immediately reacting with frustration or fear, pause. Take a deep breath. Step back and look at the situation objectively. Ask yourself, what is the best way to handle this? Not the easiest way, not the most emotional way, but the best way. This small moment of control can change everything. Because the person who can pause before reacting, the person who can think before speaking, the person who can choose patience over anger, that person holds a power that few possess. Another key to developing calmness is detachment. This does not mean that you stop caring. It means that you stop overreacting to things that do not truly matter. So many people allow themselves to get stressed over things they cannot control. They let minor inconveniences ruin their entire day. They allow other people's opinions to dictate their mood. But the truth is, most of the things that upset you today will not matter a year from now. And when you truly understand this, you stop wasting your energy on things that do not deserve it. You stop letting small problems disturb your peace. You stop reacting emotionally to everything that happens around you. Instead, you focus on what truly matters. You focus on your goals, on your growth, on becoming the best version of yourself. You let go of the need to control everything. You accept that some things are beyond your power, and instead of resisting them, you learn to adapt, to adjust, to keep moving forward. This is the essence of true calmness. It is not about avoiding challenges. It is about facing them with a clear mind, with steady hands, with unwavering focus. One of the best ways to cultivate this mindset is through daily practice. Start small. When something annoys you, instead of reacting immediately, take a breath and let it pass. When you feel frustrated, remind yourself that this feeling is temporary. When someone tries to provoke you, refuse to give them control over your emotions. The more you practice, the stronger your ability to remain calm will become. And over time, this calmness will spread to every area of your life. Your relationships will improve because you no longer react emotionally to every disagreement. Your decisions will become wiser because you think clearly under pressure. Your success will grow because you are able to stay focused no matter what obstacles arise. At the end of the day, true power is not about dominance. It is not about proving yourself to others. It is about mastering yourself. The one who has control over their own mind, their own emotions, their own reactions, that is the one who is truly strong. And that is the one who will rise above every challenge, overcome every obstacle, and create a life of true purpose and success. So from this moment on, make the decision to cultivate calmness. Train yourself to remain steady in the storm. Refuse to let external circumstances dictate your internal state, because the person who can stay calm in any situation is the one who holds the greatest power of all. Calmness is not just a state of mind, it is a discipline, a skill, a form of strength that must be developed. Life will test you. People will challenge you. Circumstances will push you. Emotions will try to control you, but the one thing you will always have power over is yourself, and that is where true mastery begins. The ability to remain calm in every situation is what separates those who live in reaction from those who live in control. Most people let their emotions dictate their lives, but the strongest individuals know how to master their emotions. They do not panic under pressure. They do not allow fear to stop them. They do not let frustration control their actions. Instead, they think before they react. They focus on what they can control, and they maintain composure no matter what happens around them. A calm mind leads to better decisions. A calm mind leads to stronger relationships. A calm mind leads to a more successful and fulfilling life. Because when you are calm, you are in control, you are not swayed by temporary emotions, you are not distracted by things that do not matter, you stay focused on what truly counts, and because of that you move forward with clarity and confidence. So make the decision today, train your mind to be calm in every situation, train yourself to pause before reacting, to see things from a higher perspective, to remain steady in the face of uncertainty. This is not an overnight transformation, but with consistent practice, it will become your greatest strength. Because in a world where most people panic, the one who stays calm holds the greatest power. In a world where most people react, the one who responds with wisdom rises above the rest. And in a world filled with chaos, the one who remains still, focused, and unshaken is the one who ultimately wins. Be that person. Master yourself, and you will master your destiny.